Whether you're a Texas native or you're from out of state and you're looking at a move to Austin, Texas, you may or may not have heard of this city called Leander, Texas. I've lived in Leander since 2018. It has gone through quite some changes over the last few years. In this video today, I'm going to be reviewing my personal list of the pros and cons of living in Leander, Texas in 2025. Hi, I'm Jordan Brown. I've been a resident here in Leander, Texas since 2018. When me and my wife moved out to this unknown city that we had no idea about. We just knew that it was close to Austin. I had some friends there. I know that a move to a new area that you're unfamiliar with can be a huge gamble. And I'm hoping that this video is going to equip you with the knowledge to make a decision on whether Leander, Texas is somewhere that should be on your radar or if it's just not a good fit. Before we dive into it, if you or anyone that you know is looking to buy or lease here in the Leander, Texas area, or really anywhere north Austin, I've helped tons of families make this move. I want to be a trusted resource for you. My buyer guide is going to be down in the description below. There's going to be a link there. Feel free to take a look at it. My contact information is there as well. If you have any questions at all, I want to be a resource for you. So without further ado, let's dive into it. The pros and cons of living in Leander in 2025. Pro number one, there's more affordable housing than in nearby Austin. Look, I'm a realtor. I had to start with the housing prices. Now, I'm not saying that Leander is cheaper than wherever you're coming from, but what I am saying is that if you are looking at the greater Austin area here in Central Texas, Leander has more affordable housing than nearby Austin. For example, the median housing price in January of 2025 in Leander was $465,000. The same median price in January in Austin, Texas was $550,000. So almost $100,000 swing to be a little bit further out and away from Austin. It's definitely worth considering. When you're moving to a new place, you have to consider things like what kind of job you have. Do you have to travel into the office? I'll tell you, if I had to travel to downtown Austin every single day, Leander may not be a good choice. Just to put it simply, you can get a bigger house for the same amount of money in Leander versus Austin. Pro number two. Personally, I'm really excited about all the developments that are happening in Leander. As a resident who was here, granted, I bought in 2018. I haven't been here since the 90s or anything like that. Those people are probably pretty ticked off about all the development that's happening. This once no-name city now has over 80,000 residents. That's pretty wild. But if you're going to live here, like I made the decision to, I'm excited to see that there's more conveniences coming to us, more options. Look, it's no secret that when you're an undeveloped city, it kind of takes a while to get more of the conveniences, such as your dining, your shopping, your nightlife going. There's been some major investments in the area. Northline, which is a 116-acre development, kind of like a miniature domain, if you're familiar with what that is in North Austin, is coming to Leander. It's set for completion around 2031. So that's going to be kind of the hub, the new downtown area of Leander. And with that vote of confidence, more places start coming out here. I mentioned earlier, you might be a lifelong resident watching this and going, Jordan, I hate all this development. We'll talk about that later. For right now, I'm excited for all of the stuff that's coming out because for a while, it felt like you had the same 4 options and they were all fast food. They're all in one area. Now you're getting a little sprinkle of options everywhere, which is great. And if you're a person like me who shares this like mind of I would rather have more conveniences than not, this is a good thing. Let's talk quality of life. Personally, I love that I'm around Austin, so I get the proximity and all the great things that come from that without being in Austin. Personally, I love the location of Leander. We're in the Texas Hill Country. It's beautiful out here. Some rolling hills, neighborhoods with views. It's awesome. I grew up in a rural city called Victoria, Texas. And by the way, if you want to know a little bit more about me and my backstory, you can check that out right over here in this video. But long story short, I come from rural Texas. I don't come from the huge metroplexes. And so if that might be a lateral move for you if you're coming from like a Chicago, a New York, or somewhere that has skyscrapers and lots of businesses. That was a big change for me. Our area had an AT&T store, and that was like the big thing that you could go work at. You either worked at the plant or you worked at a local boutique shop pretty much in Victoria. So Leander feels a little bit of like a nice mix of the city life versus the rural lifestyle that I grew up with. And so it feels a little bit more like home to me personally. The last pro I'm going to talk about in this video, Leander has top-rated schools. We've got smart kids. Leander ISD has an A+ rating and rates number 2 of the best Austin area school districts according to niche.com. It also ranks 21st out of over 880 school districts in all of Texas. I'm just saying, you want a smart kid and pay a little bit less money for your house? You should be looking at Leander. But now we've got to get into the cons of living in Leander. Number 1, there's a lack of higher paying job opportunities. Simply put, I mentioned in my last pros and cons video about Leander, Texas, that we are considered more of a bedroom city. And what that means is you are probably sleeping here, but your employment is taking you outside of Leander. So you're going to either Dell over in Round Rock, you're going to work for Google down in Austin. You're going somewhere else for those higher paying jobs. There's not a whole lot headquartered out of Leander, Texas. The second con is just the general cost of living is a little bit higher. While there's no state income tax here in Texas, you do pay higher property taxes. To me, it's basically a wash. It's not uncommon for certain neighborhoods in Leander to fall into a mud district, so not only you're paying your regular property taxes, you're paying a premium because you're in a mud. It can get a little expensive. Not to mention just being in this area, food, healthcare, transportation, utilities, it all costs a little bit more than the national average. I know y'all just heard me talking about how awesome the school district was, but that's gonna lead us to a con that I have to mention. Leander ISD just came out not too long ago and said that they are in a $30 million deficit due to a lack of state funding. And what this is going to result in is there's going to be over 200 jobs cut from the school district. Honestly, I don't know how you get a $30 million deficit. It seems like a horrible mismanagement of funds. And I know property taxpayers are pissed because we pay a lot of taxes to not have stuff like this happen. And where those 200 jobs are going to be cut from, I doubt it's going to be any of the higher ups. So I feel really bad for the people that are on the lower or frontline levels of Leander ISD. That's just a guess. I don't know. Where the job cuts are going to come from has yet to be seen, but we'll keep an eye on it. Another con I've got to mention, this is going to resonate with a lot of people who have been here for a long time, maybe over a decade ago. The traffic in Leander can get frustrating. The Cap Metro is expanding, which is great, but it's not perfect. And that can mean that commuting anywhere outside of Leander in the mornings and coming back in the evenings, it sucks sometimes. I'm just gonna say it. But hey, if you're coming from another metroplex, let's say like Los Angeles or any of the major cities in California really, New York, Chicago, Miami, this isn't new to you. Traffic is basically a lifestyle at this point. But if you're a fellow Texan like me who's coming from somewhere that's a little bit more rural, less stoplights in the city, then this can be a little bit of a change because you'll tack on an extra, anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes to your drive at peak hours. Now look, I know some of y'all are laughing because you're in a place where an extra 10 to 30 minutes for your drive and your commute on a daily basis is laughable. Look, I'm just saying, people who have been here for a while, that used to not be a thing. And they used to just be able to drive home, never hit a stoplight, never run into traffic. As we get more populated, it's becoming a more prevalent issue. That's all I'm saying. My last con that I'm going to mention, I've kind of alluded to already. I've been mentioning people who have been here for probably over a decade are really feeling this the most. We're hitting the point that we're losing the small town feel. That's kind of what attracted me out to Leander back in 2018, especially where I live. There was nothing out here. I had no community behind me. I had a green belt with, I could watch the sunset every night. And now there's a whole other subdivision. And now I have a 2-story home peering into my backyard in place of my beautiful sunsets. And where there used to be tree line and forestry, now there's a toll road. These kind of changes, especially happening so quickly, have completely changed the complexion of the city. So if you're moving to the area and you're still wanting to hold on to that small town feel, while Leander is still more small town feel than a lot of the surrounding cities, it's losing that very rapidly, and you have to be okay with that. It's not like it's going to regress at any point. If anything, it's just going to speed up. Look, I mentioned that when I moved out here, there was nothing. We're getting a friggin' Costco and a Super Target within a mile of us very, very soon. That's how much things change in such a short amount of time. So if that's not what you're all about, you may need to look somewhere else. Overall, as a resident of Leander and a native Texan, I love Leander. I love all the conveniences that it offers that I mentioned earlier in the video. I love that I'm in a good school district. I have a 14-month-old right now, and I have never had to think about the role that a good school district plays when making a purchase decision or a lifestyle decision. So I'm thankful that we're in an area that has a top-rated school that's cheaper than living in Austin, that is growing and developing and having more and more things that we want: entertainment, dining, nightlife, shopping. All of that is coming our way. As opposed to 5 to 10 years ago, there was no thought about doing anything in Leander. You had to travel to nearby Cedar Park. You had to go to North Austin. You wanted to go shopping, you went to Round Rock and their outlets. All of that is coming to us now. And while I think it's great and I'm excited for the future, I can also acknowledge that it's not perfect. And I don't know that anywhere that you live necessarily will ever be perfect. Ultimately, I hope that this video has helped you understand from a local's perspective and also a person who has helped many, many people move to and from Leander, some of the insights as to why people love or hate living here. I'm genuinely curious. If you found this to be any bit helpful, maybe there's something I didn't cover that you thought that I should have, please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to take that information. Maybe I make another video halfway through the year. And friends, if I could ask a favor, if this was helpful to you in any way, a free, easy way to support my channel, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all my Austin area real estate content. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my contact information is down in the description below. If you click that link, you can also get access to my free home buyer's guide. You feel free to share it with anyone that you know looking to buy a home in the Central Texas area. I want to thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll catch you in the next one.